Before we get started, peace, my loves. Before we get started, take a moment. I want to remind you that this is your time. Close those eyes for just a second if you can. If you can, take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. 2 more like this, as deep as you can. Try to make your breath reach all the way to the base of your spine. Deep breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth, release. 1 more time, literally as deep as you possibly can. Really allow yourself to feel into this. Deep breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth. Allow yourself to arrive. I want to remind you that this video, for the duration of this video, this is all about you. It's about nobody else. This is not about anything that's on your to-do list. Whatever that you have to do after this video, that's fine. I want you to zero in on you here. I want you to focus and center on yourself. When is the last time that you gave yourself permission to just be? And I want to remind you too that when you shift into that state of just being, when you shift into just fully arriving in the present moment, not allowing your mind to take you to all these different other spaces and places, that's when you can truly reclaim your power. Because the mind is the vehicle of your life. What does that mean? It decides where we go, left or right, forward or backwards. The beliefs that we hold within our minds inspire the feelings that we feel within our bodies. And these feelings that we feel within our bodies inspire our thoughts. And then our thoughts inform our actions. And our actions reveal and birth, really, our life experience. And so if you can just allow your mind to just quiet for a moment here, and just allow yourself to be fully present in this very moment, everything can change. Why is this so impactful? Because in a society that tries to keep us in fear and survival mode, they bank on us not being present. They bank on us not arriving. They need us to be outside of our bodies in order for them to control us. Why? Because when you have someone stuck in fear and survival mode and in an ungrounded state, it's easier to guide them here, guide them there, because they're not grounded anywhere. And so can you promise yourself, just for the next 10 or 15 minutes or so, can you promise yourself to just arrive here? Can you commit to arriving here? And can you understand and just entertain maybe the belief that if you were to be fully present, that everything would change? That you may start making decisions from a grounded space. That you may start listening to your body from the small or big things, right? The small things like, oh, let me get a glass of water, or the big things like, I actually don't feel comfortable in this environment, I'm gonna go somewhere else. Can you start to listen to yourself? See, another way that survival mode and fear tactics really try to control us is they try to convince us to stay outside of our bodies. Why? Because the more that we look for the remedy outside of our body, the more disempowered that we are. You may think that I need more things to feel more abundant. When in reality, from that feeling that you're looking for, what you're really looking for is not necessarily just abundance. You're looking for an ability to feel in gratitude. You're looking for a permission slip, rather, to feel in gratitude and to feel full. But if you were to shift your state, your energy, into a state of gratitude, gratefulness, taking in your whole full environment, your entire environment, and allowing yourself to feel that gratitude in this present moment, you will satiate that thirst for material things. And so the more that our external environment tries to convince us that we need something outside of our bodies, the more that we give our power away to these things that are outside of ourselves. Let me tell you something. Another big thing that our society really tries to do with us and with our minds is keep us in a perpetual state of shame and self-resentment. We have the diet culture. We have all these other things that run on these capitalistic systems that say you need to change yourself. There is something wrong with you. You're not doing enough. You need something outside of yourself to make you better. Or you need to change something about yourself to make you better. And what does this do? It just keeps shame living within the body. Shame is one of the densest and heaviest emotions, and it literally pads our life. It sections off our life. All the blessings trying to come in, it's hitting that pad of shame. It's hitting that wall of shame. It's hitting that wall of shame. Because when we're holding that shame within, and we don't truly love ourselves because everything outside of us is trying to convince us that we shouldn't love ourselves, we cannot accept the love that the universe is trying to give us. Why? Because all these things outside of us are just permission slips to cultivating these feelings that we have within, the love that we have within, the abundance that we have within. If we don't hold these things within our own bodies, we cannot receive them from the external environment. It doesn't matter what's happening. Even if you get all the validation in the world, you're not even going to be able to have longevity with that feeling of love because you don't hold it within. It's going to be instant gratification. It's just going to be gone within the next couple seconds. And so what shame really pushes us to do is stay in that state of resentment, self-resentment. Stay in an ungrounded state as well. And push away all the things that are really meant for us. Let me read you something. Self-worship. If you have not gotten the free ebook, please do. Shame has been used for centuries in many societies as a way to control the masses. Shame teaches us that if we think or feel the wrong thing, that something is wrong with us, and we must act in accordance to what is right in order to get our needs met in our community. In order to control how we show up in the world, shame is also used as a way to distort our own relationship with ourselves. Implementing shame is a way of limiting our own self-expression. Therefore, utilizing self-resentment and judgment as a way to maintain social order, as a way to keep us looped in these systems that literally bank on us being disempowered. Now, how do we release shame? How do we release shame? We release shame by understanding that these systems profit from our own self-resentment. We release shame by understanding that these systems are not personalized towards us. What does that mean? Even if you were to achieve the best version of you, even if you were to be the version of yourself that everybody else wants you to be, it still wouldn't be good enough. Because they're looking to harvest the energy from that dense emotion. They're not looking for you to actually become a different person. They're trying to convince you that that's the end goal, but the end goal is to keep you in a loop of self-resentment. We step into self-love by realizing that it's our choice to partake in these systems or not. How do we stop choosing that choice? By focusing purely and unconditionally on recovering all parts of ourselves now in this moment. What versions of you want to be seen? What versions of you deserve to have a voice? What versions of you deeply desire to be loved? What versions of you have you pushed away because you felt that shame or that self-resentment? How do we begin to truly shift into a world that we really, or a reality where we really love ourselves? By deciding that there is no barometer to what gets love and what doesn't. Within our personalities, within our own energies, within our shadow selves, all these things are sacred. The healing journey is not you becoming a new person. The healing journey is you re-meeting your true self again. The version of you who was untouched by shame, self-resentment, or self-judgment. And so when I talk about these terms like self-worship, or when I talk about these terms like being obsessed with yourself, it's not just to be sassy. It's not just to be, adding a little bit of razzle-dazzle on things. It's actually to bring it all the way up to how we should be feeling about ourselves. You know, I talked about in the self-worship ebook, again, it's free, I'm going to put it in my bio. I talked about in the self-worship ebook that many times people say to love yourself, but they only speak about the affirmations. How do we do self-love in practice? How do we actually move into that feeling and that groove of self-love? It is through self-worship. What is worship? It's holding in high esteem and honor. When you think about indigenous religions and indigenous practices that have all of these gods who are really just different faces of the true God of Source, there's all these different creation stories. Oh, they felt this way and this was created and that was done and da-da-da-da, right? And when indigenous people, whether it's African people, South American people, indigenous communities, when they looked at these gods and they looked at these creation stories and they told these creation stories, even if the creation stories were flawed, even if the flaws and the folklore around these indigenous powers, even if they were flawed, they still told these stories in high esteem. They still honored the power that these energies and entities had. And to be able to see yourself as powerful and worthy of love and worthy of honor and worthy of admiration because of all the quote unquote mistakes or quote unquote slip ups that you may have had in your life, because of these things, that is the ability to come into self-worship and self-love. Love is completely unconditional. This is the way that God sees us. But our society teaches us that we should only love the version of ourselves that they say we should be. But you are so much more than what anyone else tries to tell you you should be. Let's go into self-worship one more time. And let's just say some affirmations together. Let's do it together, okay? I promise to now come home to myself. Repeat after me. I promise to now come home to myself. I invite all parts of myself back home without judgment, shame, or hesitation. I now vow to treat all parts of me with care, compassion, and understanding. It is now safe for me to be me. I am safe. I am home. I am whole. Take this moment. Is there anything else that you would like to state? Is there anything else that you need to hear in this moment? Now I want you to consider something else. Beyond self-love, how do we move into a life? How do we move into a life that feels like this unconditional love? Beyond the love that we feel for ourselves, how do we get to a point where we really feel like life is in love with us? This is what I want you to ask yourself. Who are you beyond how you show up for others? So this is how we begin to really love ourselves. We put ourselves back in the center of our world. Now what everyone else thinks we should be, we put ourselves and who we truly are, beyond what we do for others, back in the center of our own world. This is who you are. This is what your soul wants to express, how you are meant to navigate through this life. I want you to consider for a moment that the blessings you've been waiting for are trying to find you at this exact second. They are searching for you, trying to find you in the crowd, but they can only find you if you give off your specific frequency, which allows your blessings to hear and see you. The blessings that are for you can only find you if you are being 100% authentically you. What does that mean? Your blessings could only find you if you speak like how you naturally speak, act like how you naturally act, live how you naturally want to live, create the things that you naturally were meant to create or want to create. If you are projecting out the false version of yourself to the universe, your blessings that come from the universe won't be able to find you because you are not sending out your unique signal. Instead, you are sending out a carefully created false signal, which allows you to attract in the things that match the false version of you. Your true blessings cannot find you because you're not in alignment with the truest version of yourself. You get life, or you get to a point where life truly feels like it's in love with you by being authentically yourself, by extending that unconditional love to all versions of you and living fully within your authenticity. No longer people pleasing, releasing shame, releasing self-resentment, and coming in to your authenticity fully and completely. I want you to repeat after me. My authenticity is my new safe space. It is safe for me to be completely and totally myself. I do not need to be liked in order to be safe. I create my own safety, and in all moments, I am safe. My authenticity is my new currency, and it is what makes me wealthy. My authenticity keeps me safe. My loves, it's time. It's time. It's time for you to shift into the version of you that is actually you. Not the version of you that society may have influenced, not the version of you that is people-pleasing, not the version of you who tried to make everyone else happy. It's time for you to shift into the real version of you, because it's only within that authenticity that you can actually reach the point of fullness in your life in all areas. This is how you love yourself. So, join us. We have Embrace that is beginning on the 30th. I'm going to put the link in the bio right here. This is 33 days of really diving into your authenticity, discovering who you are again, reclaiming your sense of safety, and expanding your authenticity, really creating a magnet for all the things that are truly for you. If you are a people pleaser, if you're someone who really wants to find themselves again, even if you're a content creator or a business owner, you want to grow your audience can only find you if you are fully in your authenticity. And so the more that you give yourself permission to be this version of yourself, and we're going to do this through subconscious reprogramming work, releasing trauma, transmuting shame for 33 days, the more that you stay consistent with this work and you actually have the tools to be able to rediscover yourself and release this shame, your blessings are going to be here, baby. And it's going to be quicker than you think. Not only is it 33 days of reflections, but we also have a bi-weekly Zoom call with all the other people who have already signed up as well, to be in community and to share our reflections. It's going to be fucking amazing. Here's the link here. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.